Jacob Coker, welcome back to T-Town. I hope you're doing well.
I appreciate y'all having me. Heck, I'm doing good. I hope y'all are doing good.
No doubt, no doubt. We're just making it through this offseason. I feel like this has been the longest offseason of my entire radio career. I mean, after losing a championship. So it's been a little tough in T-Town, but we've made it to the through the offseason.
Yeah, I think, well, hey, Alabama's, we've been a little spoiled over the years and came up a little short this year or last year, but heck, I think this year we got all the talent in the world and can hopefully get us back there.
No doubt. Hey, Jacob, give us an update, man, on what you're doing these days.
I'm down in Mobile. I'm working at Cooper Marine in Timberland, and hey, man, I'm enjoying it. It's a good time working with great people, and so I'm having a good time.
Jacob, let me go to a couple of different conversations. I want to focus on that 2015 national championship team, but let's not focus on the Clemson game. Let me go back and just ask you, is there a moment during that season that sticks out to you, maybe when you realize that this team has what it takes to win a national title?
I always knew. I felt like we always had the potential. It's when everything starts to click and everybody really gets on the same page. That year we had 9 guys, 9 new starters on offense, and heck, the defense was pretty much, they were a well-oiled machine. It seemed like from the start, and we just slowly, as time went on, got better as an offense. Communication and timing, really, that was huge between me and the wide receivers, and it's not easy to replace that many new guys, especially. When you're talking about communicating on the field, in a game when you got chaos all around, that's probably the biggest issue. But once we got that down and we were comfortable playing with each other, everything turned around.
Jacob, let me ask you about how important fall camp is. And I know we say fall in August. I'm not sure why we do that. Training camp with 105 degrees. Is that where leadership is formed in camp?
I think there's a big part of it. During fall, I think the biggest part is, when leadership's formed. I think it's in game time situations when bullets are flying and it's chaotic and you find out who you can rely on and who's going to step up and make the plays and be the guy whenever it's chaotic and you got to rely on somebody.
Let me ask you, when you talk about vocal inside that locker room, being the quarterback, I mean, sometimes you sort of have to take charge of that. I mean, you're pretty impressed with what Jalen Hurts did in year number 1 of being that vocal guy at 18 years of age?
Yeah, I mean, that's pretty impressive what he's done. It's, I can't imagine there's too many true freshman quarterbacks that have come close to doing what he's done, and I think he's going to progress and be one of the greats, and he already is, and so real proud of the way he's come on and matured and done what he's done so far.
Jake, when you look at Jimbo Fisher and you look at Nick Saban, what are the similarities that you see between the two?
I guess the first word that comes to mind is just obsession. They're obsessed with what they do. They love it. It's kind of very similar coaches when it comes to, except just on the opposite side of the ball. Coach Saban's over there on the defensive side of the ball, and he's very specific with the DBs and the rest of the defense. He keeps everybody on the same page, and Coach Fisher's really the same way. He's he's with the quarterbacks, but he's always managing the whole offense and keeping everybody on the same page, and really makes it a lot easier on the quarterbacks and just the communication and the passion they have, the passion that they coach with is the main difference.
When you talk about the way that they built their program from recruiting, I mean, do you see a lot of Nick Saban and Jimbo Fisher and sort of the program that he's built there at Florida State?
Yeah, I mean, recruiting, you can recruit as much talent as you want. I think, when coaches really come into play when they're building character in a program. I think you can stay in games. You can play with whoever you want to with talent. But, when developing character, you got guys with character, that's when you can win consistently and keep moving on. And that's the thing I think they've done a great job of building at each program.
Jake, sometimes, and I don't know if you're like this, but you watch a game and you watch a season unfold, and then you go back and you think about. I mean, I'm looking at stats right now, and I was looking at Derrick Henry, 395 carries, 2,219 yards, 28 touchdowns, and you reflect on that number. You think about that is a monster season. Not just Alabama records, but SEC records fell that season. You had a chance to just sort of watch that and just be able to watch Derrick Henry do his thing.
Yeah, it was a special season. He's an unbelievable athlete, and in the weight room, I think he built himself to be somebody who's pretty much, indestructible. He's a beast, and he's a great guy, great leader, and the model football player, you would say.
Jacob, let's go to Clemson game here in Arizona. When you look at that game, what was the confidence like going into that game that you guys were going to win?
We were always very confident in each game. We felt like we were prepared, and we had the talent to win each game. We just had to go out there and do it. I felt early on that as long as we didn't turn the ball over and we just kept to our assignments and stayed disciplined, we'd win the game. And, I guess later on in that game, we started off, not as aggressive as we probably should have been. And later on, took a few more gambles, and it paid off. And that's what it takes to beat a team that's, has as much talent as you do. And thankfully, everything worked in the end, and we pulled it out.
I'm just curious, did you know the onside kick was going to happen?
I had no idea. Actually, we just come off the sideline, and Coach Kiffin came over, and we're all sitting down, and he said, "Y'all don't act weird or anything, but we're about to onside kick this." And as soon as he said it, I looked up, and I see the ball floating in the air, and Marlon come down with it, and we all lost it. It was a great time, great memory. It's something I'll never forget. That's for sure.
Yeah, and I'll never forget this. I'm not pointing this out, but just growing up, going to St. Paul's there, Episcopal in Mobile, growing up an Alabama fan and having a chance to lead your team to the national championship game and winning it, I'll never forget the emotions that you showed after that game. Can you take us back to that moment and, after the final whistle's done, man, you're a national champ winning quarterback at a team that you grow up following?
Yeah, I mean, it was a surreal feeling. It was, I couldn't believe that it happened. That after all the things that, the ups and downs that I had in my college career, and finally we came together. It was the team was unbelievable. It was, everybody was so close, and everybody loved everybody and picked each other up. It was just one of the most special years, special teams I've ever been on, and I've been on teams before that have won, and the Florida State National Championship, like the year before, and the Sugar Bowl, we didn't win it, but we came a long way, won the SEC championship, and it was just finally, it was great to be able to be the starter and go through all that, and man, it's something so special that it's hard to describe.
I'm just curious, when you look at pressure of winning a national championship, where you guys have built this program, it's, I don't want to say unsuccessful, but even Calvin Ridley and Minka Fitzpatrick a couple of weeks ago, I mean, they said it. The expectation of winning a national title, it's like if you reach that, it's been a success. If you don't, I mean, even Nick Saban stood at the podium and said, let's not waste a failure. It's just hard to call 14-1 SEC titles a failure, but that's where this program is currently at.
Yeah, I mean, I'll tell you, it's kind of funny. During that Clemson game, I remember, it was one of those 3 and outs we had, and we were down, a little bit, and I just remember telling myself, I think I missed Calvin on a corner route, and came off the sideline. And in my head, I was like, man, I can't repeat this on radio, but I was thinking, man, if you don't pick it up, you're gonna be the first quarterback to lose for Coach Saban in a national championship, and I was like, I started taking some more chances, and thankfully it all worked out. But I knew I had to turn it up and get better. That's for sure. Real quick,
Jacob, I don't want this to sound weird, but when you go to Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday and you go through the practices, because I've been out there, you guys grind and you guys go good on good, and you guys don't take it easy on one another. Is Saturday easy when you get to Saturday?
Yeah, I would say. Well, I guess it depends on who you're playing. Some days it's more sore than others, and it depends on the outcome of the game. But practice definitely makes the games a lot easier. I can tell you that.
Yeah.
I think that's the best way to go about it, though. I think Coach Saban, he's got the formula, obviously, and he's made it work, and it's obviously paid off.
I'm just curious, what was your favorite place to play away from Bryant-Denny?
Man. I enjoyed them all, to be honest with you. It was, I guess Georgia. Georgia was probably my favorite, just because the right end was so hostile, and when we walked out there, we had the big confrontation with the Georgia team, and then for it to end up like it did, it was pretty special.
Well, hey, just to make note, we're doing a favorite Alabama game today, and we're having people call in and tweet in. And matter of fact, that Georgia game was brought up several times. That 2015 Georgia game on the road, Alabama went in, a little smack talk from the Dogs, and you guys put an end to that, 38-10 in the rain. And what a great performance it was from the offensive perspective.
Oh yeah, that was one of my favorite games. One of those great memories I'll never forget. That's for sure.
Any smack talk between you and Jeremy Pruitt? I mean, because he was the defensive coordinator of that game, and I mean, you look back and now he's in the locker room. I mean, any smack talk saying, "Hey, we got you a little bit there."
No, I didn't do that to him. Coach Pruitt, he actually recruited me out of high school to Alabama. Then I ran into him. He was the defensive coordinator at Florida State while I was there, and then he's back in Alabama when I'm there. So it was it's pretty funny. I got a lot of history with him, and he's a great guy. So I didn't give him too much hell for all that.
Yeah, he's a brilliant defensive mind, and I think he's on the fast track of becoming a head coach. I don't know how long they'll be able to keep him in Tuscaloosa, because I think he's going to become a hot name if he can get this defense, losing all the talent they did, to be one of those top defenses. And I don't think any doubt right now with the talents in Tuscaloosa, any reason why they're not going to be.
Yeah, he's got a bright future, and at Alabama, it's, next guy up, he'll make it work, and he's a great coach. His history, speaks for itself, and just proud of what he's been able to do at all the different places he's been. So, I think he's going to be just fine.
Jake, final question. We're talking to Jake Coker right now, national champion winning quarterback at the University of Alabama. Tell me your best memory with Nick Saban off the football field.
Oh man, I got a lot. I love Coach Saban. I think he's the best that's ever coached, and it's hard to pinpoint one, but they're all positive, and I can't say enough about him.